Nextthink and the creators of the Dex show, it's Parallel, one IT story told week by week. Because technology problems don't happen in isolation or by themselves. They happen in parallel. I'm Tim Flower. Knowledge is power until it slips through your fingers. Employees are struggling with the relentless pace of technology changes, especially with AI. And I've seen it as I travel the world talking with executives and tech leaders. They're all concerned with not only IT's ability to transform quickly without breakage, but also with their employees' ability to keep up with the pace and volume of change. Training sessions are forgotten, new systems replace old ones overnight, and IT teams are overwhelmed with employees who simply can't keep up. At Zentech, the story is no different. In the midst of troubleshooting performance and productivity issues, they found yet another problem. Employees weren't using the new features in their apps, and worse, they weren't telling anyone. If you think 50% reporting is a bad statistic on help desk calls, the Dex team found that employees with change fatigue were calling for help even less, close to never. This week, we investigate the unseen breakdown of knowledge retention and the chaos it leaves behind in Episode 5, The Forgotten. It started with a simple question from IT leadership at Zentech. Why are we seeing so many tickets for basic how-to issues? At first, the assumption seemed obvious. User error. Employees weren't following instructions, or they weren't paying attention in training, and then weren't using the systems correctly. But as the Dex team looked deeper, a pattern emerged.
This wasn't like the reboot offenders. This was strange. They weren't new hires, struggling to learn their tools. It was everyone. Senior employees, even high performers. They weren't making mistakes because they were careless. They just couldn't remember how to do certain things after all the changes.
Pam was right. This was strange. And Jessica noted that it wasn't just the business who couldn't keep up with remembering in the midst of all this information overload. IT was struggling too.
Some of our employees admit they had forgotten how to perform basic functions, and others had just missed key updates in a flood of corporate communications. Our vendor platforms change so fast, even we in IT struggle to keep up sometimes.
I stopped over to see Susan, a longtime employee at Zentech that we've talked with before.
Every time I log in, something's different. The buttons move, the menus change, and no one tells us what's new until we're already stuck. I used to feel like an expert, but now I feel like I'm guessing.
And traditional training models the team has used for years weren't built for this level of change. Zentech's IT team rolled out updates, scheduled training, sent out email reminders, and then assumed people would adapt. But they didn't. And the reasons were tough to get to. Terrence is the training manager at Zentech.
The problem is, we're teaching people how to use the tools on day 1, and by day 30, the tools have changed. The training manuals are outdated before they're even published.
The company was facing a paradox. Employees were trained, but they weren't enabled. The information was there, somewhere, but people either couldn't find it, didn't remember it, or had no time to relearn it on the fly. Fred, the Dex team leader, started to zero in on the issue.
We realized the issue wasn't just knowledge, it was access to knowledge. People don't need a 90-minute training from 6 months ago. They need the right answer right now, in the moment they're stuck.
Employees who can't do their jobs efficiently don't just struggle, they disengage. Frustration builds, productivity drops, and in some cases, employees start looking for jobs somewhere else. I talked with Meg, who leads HR at Zentech, and she had some observations that back this up.
We saw an interesting correlation in our most recent reporting. Employees who submitted the most IT-related complaints also had the highest attrition rates. When people feel like they can't keep up or get their job done well, they stress out and then they check out. First mentally and then physically. And it's no small effort or cost to replace people these days.
But it's not just about employee retention. It's about operational efficiency. The Dex team found that teams were losing entire workdays to technology struggles that were completely avoidable. Finance seemed to be an area that struggled more than most for some reason. I talked with Rory, the finance manager.
We have deadlines and we're wasting hours every week just trying to figure out how to access the right systems. We can't afford that kind of inefficiency.
Zentech needed to rethink its approach to training, and fast. The DEX team proposed a shift from traditional point-in-time training to real-time, on-the-fly, embedded learning.
We'd stopped thinking about training as an event and started thinking about it as a process. Short, continuous, in-context guidance, bite-sized tutorials, and most critically, using proactive communication before the changes happened. So we'd embedded tips, tricks, and process reminders right inside the apps users were on. In addition to that formal training, we met them with information where they were instead of just externally. And we couldn't have done it without the visibility and analysis of their struggles from our DEX platform.
I followed up with Meg from HR offline, and she told me that for her teams in HR, the difference was night and day. Instead of hunting through old PDFs or waiting on IT for answers, they got simple, quick answers right inside the tools they were already using. Meg noted that this wasn't just Zentech's problem. Across industries in her network, companies are pushing out more technology than employees can absorb. And as the digital landscape evolves with AI, the gap between technology and human adaptability keeps widening.
We're all in a constant state of change, and it's only accelerating. So if companies don't rethink how they can support employees through that change, they're setting themselves up for failure.
The takeaway? Training isn't enough. Employees need just-in-time knowledge, clear communication, and systems that evolve without leaving them behind. Because when the tools move faster than the people using them, businesses lose more than productivity, they lose their people. So as we close out our first set of visits and analysis of issues at Zentech, the DEX team has been clear with us. They've made a ton of progress, finding the killers of productivity. But there's more going on here that needs investigation. How does Zentech get a handle on the outsider influence on stability? Or find the impact of failed transformations like the foundation? And bigger picture, what happens when bad IT goes beyond the walls of the business? Zentech's customer experience team has uncovered a troubling link between internal technology struggles and external reputational damage. So don't miss the future exploration of these and other mysteries. Because IT problems don't happen in serial, they happen in parallel.